Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mastering English with Podcasts. Why is your English not improving? Have you ever asked yourself this question? You've been learning for a while, but you're not seeing the progress you expected. Today, we're going to dive into this topic and find out what's really stopping your improvement in English.
That's right. In this episode, we'll break down the reasons why your English might not be improving, and more importantly, what you can do about it. We'll take you through each point, step by step, and by the end, you'll have a clear idea of what's holding you back and how to move forward.
Let's start by asking, how do you even know if you're improving in English? Sometimes we feel like we're stuck, but we haven't really checked our progress.
Exactly. It's easy to feel like you're not improving if you're not keeping track. One way to identify improvement is by looking at your fluency. Can you speak more smoothly now compared to a few months ago? Do you understand more words when you listen to English podcasts or movies?
And think about your reading. A great example could be reading news articles. Maybe a few months ago, it took you 20 minutes to read an article, but now it only takes 10.
It's important to recognize those small improvements. So, how about you? Can you see any areas where you've improved in English? Comment below and let us know.
Now, the next step. How do you know what stage of learning you're in? Are you a beginner, intermediate, or advanced?
A good way to figure this out is to test your skills. For example, if you can handle basic conversations but struggle with complex ideas, you might be in the intermediate stage.
Exactly. Or if you're finding grammar rules difficult, but your vocabulary is strong, you could still be in the beginner stage for some areas while advancing in others.
What stage do you think you're in right now? It's so important to know this because it helps you understand what you need to focus on.
Let's talk about measuring improvement. How do you know you're making progress? It's not always easy to see it day by day.
Right. And that's why measuring over weeks or months is helpful. For example, try recording yourself speaking English today, then listen to it again after 1 month. You'll probably notice the difference.
You can also track your vocabulary. Write down new words you've learned every week. At the end of the month, review the list. How many words did you learn? If you've learned 50 new words in a month, that's real progress.
How do you measure your English improvement? Share your methods in the comments.
Now, let's get into the big question. What's really stopping you from learning English?
One of the most common reasons is a lack of practice. If you're not speaking English regularly, it's hard to improve. Even listening and reading are not enough. You need to actively use the language.
Absolutely. It's like trying to get fit by just watching workout videos without actually doing the exercises. Another reason could be fear of making mistakes.
Yes. A lot of learners are afraid to speak because they think they'll sound silly. But mistakes are a part of learning.
Let's dive deeper into specific reasons for not improving. It could be grammar, vocabulary, or speaking with others.
For example, maybe your grammar is great, but you're struggling with vocabulary. Or maybe you know a lot of words, but you have trouble forming sentences.
Or perhaps you're not speaking enough with others. Practicing with friends or even language partners online can make a huge difference.
Where do you think you're stuck? Grammar? Vocabulary? Speaking? Tell us in the comments, and let's see how we can help.
So, what are the hurdles you face while learning English? Is it a lack of time? Is it difficult to stay motivated?
Or maybe it's not knowing where to start. One of our listeners once shared that they had a hard time organizing their learning. They wanted to improve everything at once, and that made it harder.
Exactly. Trying to tackle everything at once can make you feel overwhelmed. It's better to focus on one area at a time.
Now, let's talk about the right way to measure improvement. We've mentioned tracking progress over time, but what else?
One good way is to set specific goals. For example, if you want to improve your speaking, set a goal to have one conversation in English every day, even if it's short.
Right. And don't forget to celebrate small successes, like we talked about in one of our previous episodes. Every bit of progress matters.
So, how can you make consistent improvement? The key is regular practice.
Exactly. It's much better to practice a little bit every day rather than doing a lot in one day, and then nothing for a week.
Think about learning English like planting a tree. You can't expect it to grow overnight, but with water and care every day, you'll eventually see the results.
Before we wrap up, let's give you some simple tricks to help improve your English.
One trick is to read aloud every day. It helps with pronunciation and speaking fluency.
Another tip is to record yourself speaking. Listen to it later to catch any mistakes and see where you can improve.
And don't forget to engage with English content you love, whether it's movies, books, or podcasts like this one.
Do you have any tricks or tips that have helped you improve your English? Let us know in the comments below.
All right, that was a great conversation. Now, it's time for one of our favorite parts, audience questions. We love hearing from you and answering your questions, especially when it's about such an important topic like, why is your English not improving?
Yes, we've received some amazing questions from our listeners, and we're excited to dive in. Let's hear from our first question. Who do we have here?
Hi, my name is Sarah and I'm from Spain. I've been learning English for about a year, but I feel like I've hit a plateau. No matter how much I study, I don't seem to improve as much as I did in the beginning. Why is this happening, and how can I get past this stage?
That's a great question, Sarah. Hitting a plateau is something many learners face after the initial excitement of learning a language wears off. At the start, progress seems quick because you're learning the basics, but as you move forward, the improvements get smaller and feel less noticeable.
Exactly. But don't worry. This is totally normal. What's happening is that the more you know, the harder it is to notice those small improvements. One way to get past this stage is to change up your routine. If you've been studying a lot of grammar, maybe it's time to focus more on conversation practice.
Yes. Another great way is to challenge yourself. For example, if you've been watching English shows with subtitles in your language, try switching to English subtitles or no subtitles at all. Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone will force you to grow.
And don't forget, improvement doesn't always mean mastering new things. It can also mean becoming more confident with what you already know. Have you tried speaking more English in real-life situations, Sarah? That's a great way to measure real progress.
We hope that helps, Sarah. Keep going, and remember, progress is still happening even if it's harder to see.
Hi, my name is Ali, and I'm from India. I work in IT, so I write and speak in English at work. However, when it comes to having casual conversations in English, I feel nervous and unsure. What can I do to improve my confidence in speaking with others?
Thanks for your question, Ali. Speaking in a professional setting and speaking casually are two different challenges. And it's great that you recognize that. Building confidence in casual conversation takes practice, just like anything else.
One thing you can try, Ali, is to start small. Begin by talking to yourself in English at home. You can describe what you're doing or how your day went. This might sound silly, but it gets you comfortable forming sentences in a relaxed setting.
Another trick is to find a language, partner, or a friend who is learning English. You can practice casual conversations with them without feeling the pressure of making mistakes. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. That's how you improve.
Yes, and to add to that, focus on fluency over perfection. In casual conversations, people are more focused on the meaning, not on whether your grammar is 100% correct. The more you practice speaking freely, the less nervous you'll feel.
So, Ali, challenge yourself to have casual chats in English, maybe with a colleague during lunch or even in online language groups. It'll get easier over time.
Hi, my name is Maria, and I'm from Brazil. I've been teaching English to children for a few years, but I sometimes feel like my own English isn't improving anymore. I want to get better, but I'm not sure what else I can do. Do you have any advice?
Maria, first of all, teaching English is an incredible way to improve your own skills because explaining concepts to others helps reinforce them for yourself. But I understand how it can feel like you're not improving, especially when you're teaching at a basic level.
Exactly. Since you're teaching children, you're probably working with simpler English, which can make it harder to challenge yourself. One thing you can do is focus on your personal learning outside of teaching. Try to engage with more advanced materials, maybe read books, listen to podcasts, or watch videos that are a level above what you're teaching.
Yes. And another idea is to join English-speaking groups for teachers or attend workshops. This way, you can interact with other English speakers at your level or higher, pushing yourself to engage in more complex conversations.
You could also try setting some personal English goals, like learning 5 new advanced words every week and using them in sentences. Since you're already an educator, you know how important goal setting is.
We hope these ideas help, Maria. Remember, you're already doing an amazing job as a teacher, and by focusing on your own growth in new ways, you'll definitely keep improving.
Those were some fantastic questions. Thank you, Sarah, Ali, and Maria, for sharing your challenges with us. And we hope our advice helps not only you, but others who might be facing similar issues.
Yes. And if anyone else has more questions or thoughts on why their English isn't improving, drop them in the comments and we'll try to answer them in the next episode.
Keep learning, keep practicing, and remember, every small step forward is still progress.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.